Good morning, children. I hope you all are fine. You are utilizing your lockdown period time for learning. Today, let us start with a new lesson, that is sexual reproduction in flowering plants. You all know that at the time of flowering, the meristem forms the floral primordia. So, flower is considered to be a modified stem. A flower consists of 4 whorls of organs. Outer whorl is called a calyx. It is green in color. Its function is to give protection to the flower. Next whorl is called a corolla. It is made up of petals. It is beautifully colored to attract the insects for pollination. But these 2 whorls are not taking part in reproduction, so they are called non-essential whorls of a flower. Third whorl is called the androecium. It is made up of stamen. It is the male reproductive part. It has 2 parts, filament and an anther. The proximal part of the filament is either attached to the thalamus or to the petal. Filament is the stalk-like structure. Anther consists of lobed structure. The anther is attached to the filament with the help of a special tissue called connective. So this is the anther and this one is the filament. Now if you see the structure of an anther is of bilobed and dithecous. It has 2 lobes, so it is bilobed. Each lobe has an inner theca and an outer theca. So it is dithecous and it is tetragonal in its outline. At 4 corners, you can see the presence of microsporangium, and later on it will form the pollen sac, and the pollen sac is filled with sporogenous tissue. So anther is of bilobed, it is dithecous and tetragonal in nature. If you see the structure of an anther consists of 4 wall layers. Outer is called epidermis, second layer is endothecium, third is middle layer, and the innermost one is tapetum. So anther consists of 4 layers are there. Outer one is epidermis, second is endothecium, third is middle layer, and the innermost one is called tapetum. The function of outer 3 layers is to give protection and help in the dehiscence of anther, rupturing of the anther, whereas the innermost layer, tapetum, provides nourishment to the pollen grain. The function of the tapetum is to provide nourishment to the pollen grain. For this purpose, it has a dense cytoplasm and a prominent nucleus. So at 4 corners, initially what is present? Microsporangium is present. Each lobe consists of 2 microsporangia. So totally 4 microsporangia are present. Later on they will be forming the pollen sac, and the pollen sac is filled with sporogenous tissue. As the plant is of diploid, the sporogenous tissue is also of diploid in nature. Now this sporogenous tissue on differentiation will form the microspore mother cell. It will be forming a microspore mother cell. Now this microspore mother cell will undergo meiotic cell division, and then it will be forming 4 pollen grain. Because the microspore mother cell is of diploid, it is undergoing meiotic cell division and it will be forming 4 microspore. The formation of microspore from microspore mother cell is called as microsporogenesis. The formation of microspore from microspore mother cell is called as microsporogenesis. Initially, all the 4 microspores were attached with each other. That time it is called a microspore tetrad. But once it gets separated, it is forming a pollen grain. And each pollen grain is of haploid in nature. Each pollen grain is of haploid in nature. So if you see the structure of a pollen grain is of spherical in shape. It has 2 wall layers. Outer layer is called exine, inner layer is called indine. The exine layer is a highly ornamented, whereas indine layer is not ornamented, it is thin in nature. Exine layer is made up of a special type of chemical called sporopollenin. It is resistant to organic matter, it is resistant to acid, alkali, any type of temperature and enzymes. So, because of these features, pollen grain can be preserved as fossil. Indine layer is made up of cellulose and pectin, but at some places the exine layer is absent. That is called a germ pore. The function of the germ pore is to help in the emergence of the pollen tube. So, pollen grain is a haploid, spherical in nature. It has 2 wall layers. Outer is called the exine layer and the inner one is called indine. Exine layer is of highly ornamented. It has a special type of chemical called sporopollenin, which is resistant to acid, alkali, any type of temperature and enzyme. Because of this, pollen grain can be preserved as fossil. But at some places, the exine layer is absent. That is called a germ pore. Indine layer is made up of cellulose and pectin and it is a continuous layer. The function of the germ pore is to help in the emergence of the pollen tube. In majority of the plants, pollen grain is released out of the anther at 2-celled stage, that is vegetative cell and generative cell. Pollen grain will be released at 2-celled stage and the 2 cells are vegetative cell and the generative cell. Now what are the differences between these 2 cells? Vegetative cell is of larger in size, generative cell is smaller in size. Vegetative cell has irregular nucleus, but the nucleus of the generative cell is spindle shaped and the nucleus of the generative cell floats in the cytoplasm of the vegetative cell. Vegetative cell has abundant reserved food material, but generative cell consists of dense cytoplasm. Vegetative cell will form the pollen tube. Generative cell forms 2 male gametes. So each pollen grain produces 2 male gametes. But in some plants, the pollen grain comes out of the anther at the 3-celled stage. So what are the 3 cells they are having? One is the tube cell and the other 2 are 2 male gametes. Remember, pollen grain is also haploid. Male gametes are also haploid in nature. Now let us pass on to the structure of the female part of a flower, that is called the gynoecium. The individual unit is called carpel or pistil. Pistil consists of 3 parts: stigma, style and ovary. Stigma is the landing platform for the pollen grain, and through the style the pollen tube reaches the ovary. And if a flower is having only one carpel, it is called monocarpellary. If it has two carpels, bicarpellary. If it has many carpels, it is called polycarpellary. And last year you have studied, in a flower, if all the carpels are united, that is called syncarpus. If the carpels are free, it is called apocarpus. And you all know that inside the ovary, ovules are present. And these ovules are attached to the ovary with the help of a structure, with the help of connective tissue called a placenta. The arrangement of ovule inside the ovary with the help of placenta is called placentation. Previous year you have studied different type of placentation like axial placentation, marginal placentation, parietal placentation, free central placentation and basal placentation. Now let us move on to the structure of the ovule. Ovule consists of, if you are seeing the ovule, the stalk of the ovule is called the funicle, and major part of the ovule is occupied by nucellus. At the initial stages, it is protected by two layers. One is called the inner integument and the outer protective layer is called the outer integument. But both the integuments cannot completely cover the ovule. They leave a small gap that is called the micropyle. So the end of the ovule at the micropyle is called micropylar end. The end that is opposite to the micropyle is called the chalazial end. So if you see the structure of an ovule, the stalk is called the funiculus. In the initial stages, inside the ovule, nucellus is present. It is covered by two protective layers. Inner one is called the inner integument, outer is called the outer integument, and they cannot completely cover it. They leave a small gap called the micropyle. The function of the micropyle is to guide the pollen tube. It will, that is the through micropyle, the pollen tube can enter into the ovule. The end closer to the micropyle is called micropylar end. The end that is just opposite to the micropylar end is called the chalazial end. So now let us move on to the development of the female gametophyte. So at the time of female gametophyte development, a single cell differentiate at the micropylar end. A single cell differentiate at the micropylar end, and that is called the megaspore mother cell. This megaspore mother cell will undergo 3 times continuous type of. So a single cell is developing at the micropylar end, that is called the megaspore mother cell. This megaspore mother cell will undergo meiosis and form how many cells? 4 megaspore. So the formation of megaspores from megaspore mother cell is called megasporogenesis. Among the 4 megaspores, 3 get disintegrated, only 1 is functional. That functional megaspore forms the female gametophyte. So the development is called a monosporic development. So at the time of female gametophyte development, a single cell differentiate at the micropylar end, that is called a megaspore mother cell. It is diploid. It will undergo meiosis to form 4 megaspores. 3 get disintegrated. Only 1 is functional. So this functional single megaspore develops into female gametophyte. So the development is called a monosporic development. Now this functional megaspore will undergo 3 times continuous mitosis. At the end of first mitosis, two nuclei are formed. At the end of second mitotic division, 4 nuclei are formed. 2 are arranged at one end, other 2 at the other end. At the end of third mitotic division, it is forming 8 nuclei. Among the 8 nuclei, 3 are arranged at the micropylar end, 3 at the chalazel end, 2 nuclei at the center. 3 are at the micropylar end, 3 at the chalazel end, and 2 nuclei at the center. Now after this, cell wall formation occur. Now the 3 cells that are present at the micropylar end is called egg apparatus. Middle cell is the egg cell. Other 2 are called synergid cell. Similarly, 3 cells that are arranged at the chalazel end is called antipodal cell. But single cell with 2 nuclei is present at the center, that is called a polar nuclei. So, female gametophyte is of 7-celled but 8 nucleated structure. Now, the synergid cells are having finger-like structure, projections called filiform apparatus. Synergid cells are having finger-like projection, that is called the filiform apparatus. The function of the filiform apparatus is to guide the pollen tube towards the egg cell. It will guide the pollen tube towards the egg cell. So children, you learn up to this. If you have any doubt, you can message me or WhatsApp me. Thank you for your patient hearing.